Hello, everybody, and welcome to one of my favorite games ever. This is basically the originator of all roguelikes in popular media. It's obviously not where it originated from, but this is where it gains its popularity. This is The Binding of Isaac Repentance. Repentance is a modded, well, not modded, but a DLC-ified version of a remake of a Flash game from way back in the day. The guy who made this has actually also made Super Meat Boy, so if you're not into, I don't know, I feel like roguelikes are maybe even still a little bit niche. If you're not into that type of thing, then you've probably at least heard of Super Meat Boy. That was super big back in the day. But basically, a little bit of a content warning if you're not used to this type of stuff. The lore of the game, or at least why I believe it was created, was that the creator had some kind of issues with like religious and stuff and like extremism that you kind of find in a lot of rural areas. So it's kind of I don't know how to explain it without, putting words in the guy's mouth, but basically it's kind of a commentary on extreme religious beliefs and how that affects a household. So basically this kid, Isaac here, was raised by his mother, and there was a whole lore there. I'm explaining this to people who don't know. If you already know, then just watch the gameplay, right? But his mother basically treat him like crap and all this stuff in the name of religion. And if you know the story of the Binding of Isaac in the actual Bible, then it's kind of got, parallels to that. And in the end, he's super uncomfortable with like bodily fluids and, like there's like meat and blood and stuff like that and all those other, it's like babies and crap. And so he fears all these things, so his mom goes to try and kill him. And, whether or not it's actually true, it's kind of up in the air how much of this is just inside the kid's head. But his mom goes to try and kill him, and then suddenly he drops down into the basement, and that's how the game starts. You are fighting bugs and stuff with your literal tears. If that wasn't apparent, I mean, we're crying. So that's a basic plot synopsis. Not that most people probably needed it, but there it is. The Binding of Isaac. Like I said, this is one of my favorite games. I've got a ton of hours into it, but it has been a long time. So there will be a lot of people probably in the comments who are like, man, I know everything and more about the Binding of Isaac. This guy said X wrong, or he did Y wrong, or he didn't know the item was called that. It has been a long time. Cut me some slack. I just did a live stream of this because I, first of all, wanted to try out live streaming. It was actually fun. Only a few people obviously showed up, but I got to meet some new people, and it was a good time. But there were so many things where they were like, hey, why did you just say that? That was really stupid. And once I got to thinking about it, like, yeah, no, they were right. So, again, you're going to have to forgive some of my stuff here, but like I said, I do have quite a few hours into it. I'm like 80% of the way to Dead God on one of the files, which I don't know if that's technically Dead God. I think you have to do all three. I don't remember exactly, but in terms of completion. So if you know what that means, then that'll mean something to you. If you don't know what that means, then, just sit and watch me play the game. So, one thing I have been wondering, you guys, if you've seen any of my content in the past, I do worry. Click-through rate is something that I struggle with, and I know I feel like I do decent at the thumbnails. I could maybe post, like, pick or choose between a few, right? I feel like I do at least decent with that. Like, I've seen worse, right? And the title's probably one of my weaker spots, but one thing I worry is that a lot of the games I play, be it, roguelikes or whatever, a lot of the videos I do tend to be longer in nature, and I struggle with cutting stuff out because I don't know what you guys consider relevant to a gameplay might be different to what I consider relevant. So I struggle with that a lot, and I wonder, am I losing a lot of click-through rate due to people not wanting to watch longer videos? So that's the question here. Like right now, I spent so much time in this individual room just like going back and forth trying to kill that guy. That could probably be cut out, but then here I am talking about something that I deem important. It's kind of a give and take, and especially with this game, there are a lot of rooms where you spend just doing this. You're not getting new items. That could probably be cut out. So that's not as bad, but with some games, it's a little less cut and dry. So I guess if you guys have any thoughts on that, leave them down in the comments. Obviously, comments are always great for the YouTube algorithm, and I appreciate all the support you guys give, especially at these super early stages, right? It's kind of tough to start out and, get a foothold on everything. So anything you guys can do, it's super appreciated. But yeah. So if you guys have any thoughts, again, just anything that you think would make it better for your watch experience, anything you've seen in the past, stuff like that. Obviously, I'm not asking for content, I'm not that guy, but I just appreciate the feedback and everything like that. So Is there a reason that we didn't pick up our item? I think it's because it was not very good. Basically, I've got this D6, if you aren't aware, up in the top left corner. It charges every room, and we can switch to different items. Now, that one's not great either, and it lets me carry 2 trinkets. I guess I'm just going to take it, because I don't think we'll get another charge. Doorstop isn't bad, and then having something else on top of it, it's not bad, but it's not great. You know, you want to see a good, strong first item, and then you kind of have the whole round like set up in your head, and it just makes you feel good. But alas, that is not how life's gonna go for us today. So what we're gonna try and do, I think, obviously, as you saw, I've already completed Isaac's sticky note, which up here, sorry, wrong button, up here you can see that bloody thing there is completion of different endings of the game. I'm kind of struggling with, should I explain it in detail, or should I understand that if you found your way here, you probably already understand. So sorry about that, you guys. You can just kind of skip ahead and stuff if you think I'm being annoying. But, you know, I'm going to keep talking because I like it. So, I'm trying to decide for this individual run where I plan on going, assuming I make it that far. I think, I mean, the easy way is always to just take the Polaroid and go up to Cathedral, because you go to the chest and you get all super fun items, and I think that's a nice and easy one. It's also fun to show off some of the new stuff from the newer DLC, just in case people haven't played the game in a little while, but, you know, I don't know. You could go home and you guys could see Dogma and the Beast fight, but I think we're just going to go up to the Polaroid because it's nice and easy. And, you know, a nice, easy Isaac D6 run, there's nothing wrong with that. This boss is always just so fun because typically you find him near the beginning when his health isn't that high, but, like, you can't do that much damage to him, and you gotta get rid of the flies and this, and it's all a fun time. Just a simple HP upgrade. A lot of boss items or maybe basic stat upgrades, typically health. Just to kind of get you started. It's the item room that you find some of the pretty good stuff, and then, you know, like devil deals and stuff like that, which we'll kind of get to later. Assuming I don't take any red heart damage on this floor, we should be all set there. So, one thing that I kind of see asked about a lot, especially with roguelikes, is how do you get better? You know, like, that's one thing that people are always like, oh man, I only ever get yay far in this game, and you can't get the enjoyment out of it because you don't see everything there is to offer. And I mean, even I just this room kind of cucked me, but it's hard when you don't get to see everything that the game has to offer. I mean, you paid for the whole game, but you can't get there, and that really goes for every type of game. But specifically just talking about Isaac, I would say, and it's been said before, but one of the biggest things is to memorize enemy patterns. This game is really good about it, where this is gonna be tricky. Can we do something like that? Yeah. So let me just, this is like a little thing you can do. You see that, like, the trajectory of your tiers is kind of based on how you walk, so I can do this and maybe hit these guys if I'm careful. Because if you walk in there, you're going to get boned, is the long and short of things. So let's just do it here. But yeah, there's a lot of enemy variety, and the different ones are pretty distinct. You know, you can pretty much tell who you're fighting just by, like, a glance. So once you've memorized what the enemies can do to you, and you know what to expect, it makes it a lot easier to approach it. So, obviously, practice makes perfect, you know, just go into a run and do what you can. But specifically, pay attention to what killed you. You know, if you fought off against this guy, like I said, if you tried to walk through here when those guys were there, I mean, you can't dodge something coming this way. You just don't have enough time. So, you gotta kind of think outside the box and maybe develop new strategies for stuff like that. But once you know what to expect, it makes it a lot easier going in the next time. So, this is another thing. It kind of is a good caveat into the next thing I was going to say, is just knowledge of the game. Not just the enemies, but the items too. Obviously, you can see I've got a mod right here that tells you guys what it is, which is really good for not only me, who hasn't played in a while, getting like the minutia of stuff, but also you guys. You can see what it does. Basically, this item is bad. It definitely has its uses, and there are a few people who are in its corner, so to speak, but it's basically a follower, so it'll be trailing behind me. You know, like if I walk to the right, it'll be there in 0.5 seconds. It's one of those types of hovers around you things. And when I shoot, it will go off in that direction. So it'll follow after my tier, and when it hits something, be it an enemy or a wall, it'll explode. The thing is, once it's exploded, it doesn't come back for a short while. And it's kind of hard when you're in the, you know, like the midst of a battle to know when it's going to come back. And if it comes back when you're not expecting it, and I shoot the guy right here, and the bomb goes off in my face, well, there you go, you're dead. So, a lot of people don't like Bob's Brain just because it's not as controllable as you'd like your bombs to be, right? And I would love to get something, like I said, the item room has good items, so I'd love to get something better. So we're going to go ahead, like, as you can see up there, our D6 has got 1 charge left that it needs, so I'm going to do my best to kind of fill that up with, actually, this room will get it to us, and hopefully we can re-roll into a better item. Now, the crux of Isaac, in the long term, obviously, it is a roguelike, not a roguelite, so there's not, I mean, you can play it as much as you want, it's not like you get necessarily stronger, but you do unlock new items. I'm not sure if I can see through here. There's not really any item lists, but also there's the seed if you want it, you know. But there's not really an item list that's visible here. But basically, if you were to play the game at the very start right now and just open up with Isaac, it's kind of funny that we got that, you wouldn't have the D6. Also, half of these items wouldn't be in the game. And there's a good website for it if that type of thing is overwhelming for you. I believe platinumgod.co.uk, maybe? Either way, Platinum God is the website for it, because back in the day, that used to be the term for 100% completion. So, you know, they named it that. But it tells you what all the items are and how to get them and how they affect each other and stuff like that. It's basically your wiki for Isaac. It's at least my favorite one. I'm sure there's a few, but what happens is, after you play your first run, you get to your first boss. The game ends super early. I mean, like, the first boss that you unlock is 5 floors in, where late game you can get maybe 7 to 10. Right, and then after that, you found that because you did X, you unlocked Y. And next time you play, you might be able to find Y. You know, so it kind of opens up, and it exponentially grows from there. You do get to a point, like I am right now, where you have to basically trophy hunt for these things. Like, there's one achievement where you have to, I think, beat 5 weekly challenges in a row. I've seriously never played one. And it's not that I don't know they're there, it's just whenever I play, I'm like, oh, well, I could also just finish this guy's sticky note. And that is another thing. Like I mentioned, you see the sticky note here. Sorry to pause in the middle of combat. But what it is when I beat a boss ending run, mind you. Like, this boss is not going to fill up my sticky note. This is just a level boss for this floor. But if I were to end the game by beating a boss, there's multiple different endings you can get. Beating each of those will fill out your sticky note, and each of those bosses per character, which I'm not sure if you saw there at the beginning, there's a lot, and spoiler alert, even more than that, whoops, but, you know, you guys can see how each character with all of those different 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 bosses. And also on hard mode is where you get the red outline. Like, that's a lot of items in itself, and then there's challenges and all this. I'm not going to spoil the whole thing if you want to get into it, because I'd love to get someone into this game. It's seriously one of my favorites, but there's a lot to do. It takes up a lot of your time, which is why I've put so much time into this, and yet here I am still getting destroyed, right? So, what's happening here, because we got this far, on the first floor you cannot get a double deal. But the prerequisites that begin after that is that if you take no red health damage, see how I've got red hearts right here and then soul hearts. Soul hearts are basically blank canisters. They will go away after I lose them. Red hearts are like your typical Zelda. You know, this is like a shield, kind of. So if I take no red heart damage on a floor, then I get a 100% chance the first time of getting a deal with the devil. And then the odds go like further and further. Basically, in here, there will be really good items, but they cost hearts, permanent hearts. And I can go in there. You see right now, I would have had, if I don't go in there, the next time I can get a deal with the angel, which are, they don't cost hearts, and they're like a different type of item, but also equally good. You'd also be delayed, right? Because I can't get one on the first floor. There's a bunch of minutiae here, but I'm digressing. But basically, my option here is Devil Deal right now, and if I do go in there, you'll see that this % chance goes down, and if I take an item, I believe it goes to 0. Like, if you just want to take a peek, suddenly you have a much lower chance of getting an angel room, and if you take one of these items, it's lower even then. Now, I'm kind of upset that I didn't go in with a D6 charge, because long story short, you guys, none of these are that good. What I will do, because I have so many red hearts, is I'm going to kind of show you guys another thing that can happen. I'm going to take this item, this is called Guppy's Head, and I'm going to swap it out for the D6. I just used it once. Basically what I've done there is I touched it, and I say that with air quotes. It's a term that people say in this game just for, I mean, that's exactly what it is. It's, if you have an item that can be swapped out or put back down, you equip it for a second and then get rid of it. The game considers you as having discovered it or whatever term. You touched it, right? So that item, Guppy's Head, is part of a collection of items that you can find. Basically, Guppy's implied to be Isaac's cat. So there's like Guppy's head, there's Guppy's hairball, stuff like that. They all do like drastically different things. Oh, I'm just getting destroyed here. But what it means is if you can get multiple, I believe it's 3. Actually, I know it's 3. If you can find 3 of those items in a run and touch them, you don't have to keep them if they're active items and stuff like that. But any of the 3, you get a transformation, which basically means that you turn into Guppy. And you can have a lot of them. Actually, another one that we've got is that Bob's rotten head there, that bomb thing we've got. That would have been another a transformation. And I think it would have actually applied also... I don't want to go in there right now, but I have to. It would have applied also to... Wow, this room sucks, you guys. I hate these enemies, especially in the smaller rooms. But, I can't go into red heart. I don't want to go into red health territory. Okay, there we go. Now that one guy's dead. Sorry, I keep getting distracted. So, you can get Bob's curse, Bob's rotten head, and Bob's brain. I believe will give you the Bob transformation. And what that does... I don't know, it gives you like poison immunity or something like that. The Guppy transformation is very good, especially back in the day. Like, it used to be one of the better things you could get, and it was kind of like everyone knew you wanted Guppy. Right, so in any run where you could find Guppy items, even if that item isn't very good, you would touch it. See, there we just lost our double deal chance. But you would touch it just for the chance that you could eventually turn into Guppy. What it does is basically you spawn a bunch of flies, which in this game, they're little homing fellas that do like 2 times your damage, 1.5, something like that. You spawn them whenever you shoot, and it's super good, basically, or whenever you make contact with an enemy, like actually hitting them, not just shooting like a wall. Super good, long story short. You could probably assume, but given what I've kind of described it as, these guys suck too. They go into like a dead state, you can revive them and whatnot, but jeez. So, anyways, let's go into this boss fight. We didn't get our item here. So here's a friend. This is the Bumbo boss, right? I think that's what he's called. This guy's got a fun little thing. Not all of the bosses necessarily need to be killed to win. We're not going to be able to proc this guy's thing, but he's got a fun other win condition. Basically, in the lore of this game, Bumbo's like got a lot of lore in this game. He's known for a lot of different things. He's an item you can get. He's got a spin-off game. It's just one of those things that the creator took a liking to, and the community as well. I'm just getting destroyed. Where if you give him enough coins, he will go away. He likes money, basically. I'm going to use the Fool card really quick to get us out of here. Because first of all, we're struggling. Half because I'm trying to describe this, and I'm not paying as much attention as I maybe could be. But we're struggling there. So what's going on is I'm going to escape and get our item room, especially since we've got this, right? And we're going to go ahead and try and track that down. But yeah, you guys, I want to go ahead and find our item room before we have to fight that boss. Hopefully we'll get something good. And we do have another chance to reroll. Now, one crux is that on any given floor, you've basically got limited resources. And this mattered a lot more back in the day, because this game used to be super breakable, you guys. There were a lot of item combinations that would let you just get so overpowered. And on-floor resources, you could min-max so greatly that it would just be like... If you were good enough about it, you could turn almost any run into a super good run. But one of those resources is, obviously, since our active item charges once per floor, there are only once per beaten room, right? There's only so many rooms that can charge it. Like, this item sucks, right? This one's actually decent. The issue is, if I wanted to get more D6 charges, I already beat these floors, or these rooms, with it full, so we wasted them. It's something to take into account, especially, like I said, if you plan on min-maxing. Like I said, I'm probably going to play a little bit slower, actually, here, which isn't great, assuming my question from the beginning comes back around and you guys say, like, oh, we hate long videos. There's our Ghost Pepper doing what you guys just saw there, where it's actually releasing fire into the room. Hopefully we can get some hearts here. Awesome. We're going to blow this guy up, because sometimes they give us coins, just like that. He's considered a shopkeeper, but it's just a statue. Allows Isaac to choose from 2 different ring clear rewards. This one's pretty decent. Here's the shop, by the way. We're in the shop, and the items here are typically not very consequential to your run. They'll be decent, but you're never going to find anything life-changing, except for maybe chaos. And they're just kind of supplemental things, like, you know, some things your followers can do more damage, like your flies do more damage, or you get more money, stuff like that. Like I said, the item room and the devil deals are really where you get most of your game changers. Now let's go ahead and take this guy out. What I hate is how much health he has. Our flames are going to help us out a lot here. Because if you saw, like, look at how much damage those are doing, and they kind of persist after he walks through them. The flames are super good, and I'm glad we managed to pull that off, because we do so little damage, and he does so much. Look at him just go for it. He does so much on his own. You know, this is a newer boss. Actually, I'm not too used to him in this game, because he's from the new DLC that, again, like, I played a decent bit of it, but I never found this guy all the time. Anyways, we took him out. You see, we only had an 11% chance to get a devil deal, and we did not get it. Eye drops, 1.4 times fire rate multiplier for the left eye, which means that every other one is going to shoot faster. See how, like, we shoot a slow one, and then a quick one, and then a slow, stuff like that. We're going to go ahead on to the next floor. I'm pretty sure we've got everything we want here. We do have to the right side, you saw there was another room option. It was like a barred up door. What you can do there is it basically takes you onto like a side path. Or if you go the main path, it's always the same floors, and up until the DLC came out, you only had one path. But now you actually get an option. There's kind of a cool thing that happened there. You get an option for another set of floors, and those were inspired off of one of the more famous mods that came out for this game back in the day. I guess it wasn't that far back in the day, but by now it's been quite a while. And the name is... I'm super sorry, but it's eluding me. I'll probably remember it at some point, or maybe I'll put the thing up there so you guys can see it. Here, our shop actually contained a greed boss fight, which that's another thing, like the sins and stuff like that. Obviously more Bible imagery, but the bosses are greed and lust and gluttony and stuff like that. So, anyways, those side floors were inspired by, it's not repentance, because that's the name of the mod. I don't know. I can't think of it. I'm probably going to have to put it on screen. But basically, this giant mod added a ton of stuff. It was just a fan-made one. And the developer liked it so much that it ended up in the game. He had the people come on and actually make this content. And, you know, they decided to change some things around so it could fit his vibe and his theme more. But, yeah. So that's kind of, and that happens a lot with some games. You wouldn't have expected that back in the day. But in the modern age, like, there's a lot of mod developers who I think work for Microsoft doing Minecraft stuff now too, especially. That's where you see it the most. And it's just because, well, if somebody's good enough at making content for your game that everyone wants to download it and add it on, eventually you're going to realize that it's probably worth using, right? Like, that person might be, they might understand your game more than maybe just the average hire, and they might know how the code works and this and that. So, like I said, it's good to have that information. We're going to go ahead here. So this is a cute thing. If you blow up a rock, you see here, this is impassable. If we blow up a rock in the opposite direction, what it'll do is it'll, like, slap that rock into a bridge right here. This is a chest that needs to be bombed, but we've got plenty of bombs, so I'm not too worried about it. This is going to use one bomb to give us 2. This is going to give us a rotten heart. There's no point in not doing that because it's just a 1-to-1 bomb exchange. But as you can see here, if you have the resources, you can do a lot more than... I mean, if we didn't have any bombs there, we'd be kind of SOL. You know, we'd be shit out of luck. There'd be nothing we could have got there, and you just got to kind of walk past and think about maybe, just maybe, if you hadn't used your bomb on something else. Again, it's nice because there's actually thought that has to go into it. It is resource management as well as just a normal random, you know, whatever RNG-based game. So if you are good enough at it, eventually you'll be able to kind of get into that aspect of it too. Not that I'm the best, you know, it's not what I mean to imply, clearly not, or I would have a lot more health right now. But I am aware of how that works, so I can utilize it. Here we got these golden chests can sometimes give us items. They're pretty decent. I don't know if the pool has anything, like, much better than just damage and luck up, so I'm going to take this as opposed to re-rolling it. I do want to find our item room pretty quickly. We've only got an 18% chance of getting a devil deal just because it kind of changes every other floor and stuff like that. It goes higher, lower. Like, if you just got one, the rate will go down too. So I don't know that we'll get that. I'm more inclined to use our reroll on our item room because it'll probably get us, you know, I'm going to regret it when we get a devil deal. I know that's the case, but that's life. And life goes on and yada yada. I feel like I say that a lot in my videos. Life goes on. Kind of how it is when you're playing a roguelike. You gotta just get over it. Accept what's to come. Here's, not much, really. Just a chest, I guess. I'm hoping our item room is over this way. Another layer that I can peel back on this game is that there are secret rooms. So you'll kind of realize over time, I guess we're gonna take that one. That's okay. you'll realize over time that the map does not show you everything, and I'm going to kind of check here to confirm. So basically, there can be secret rooms. There's 2 different kinds. I found this one, and I'll show you how in a minute. There's normal secret rooms, and then there's a super secret room. And basically, how the tell is, the normal secret room, I should not have taken that. The normal secret room is always attached to 2 different walls. So if you see on the map there, this one's in the corner of 2. How I could tell is if you're in a floor where the area is inaccessible, like that wall I couldn't get there, secret room can't be over there. So I see an intersection of 2, and I see that both of these are accessible, and I'm like, I'm going to bomb this just for shits and giggles. I don't have to. But I'm like, okay, it must be here. We're going to go ahead and take this trinket. It's a small tears up, and they do that. Who cares? It's not bad. So, yeah, the super secret room is a little bit tougher, and the caveat there... Sorry. I hate this room. The caveat there is that... Freaking get me out of here. It only touches 1 wall, but there can be better stuff in it. It's not like it's for sure, but, typically it's better stuff. We have still yet to find our item room, by the way. I'm just, wasting your guys' time over here. But hopefully it's at least fun to listen to me talk. Also, it can be more than 2, by the way. I said 2. It was 3 this time, but it will be more than 1 is the caveat for a normal secret room. But anyways, I hope you guys at least a little bit enjoy listening to me talk about this crap, because it's something that interests me, and, I figure sometimes listening to someone talk about something they know a little bit about is more interesting, at least, than just random background chat. And at least you get to see me play the game. It's something that I like doing, but I guess it obviously doesn't go for everybody. So when this super long video comes out, I'm sure nobody will click on it, and that's okay. I just really goofed there. This 2 options thing gave me a bomb and a key. I took the bomb on accident when I really needed the key. So hopefully we can somehow pull a key out of this boss fight. Not looking good, though. We can get into our shop and maybe get something, and that's, it's always an option. Here, this boss is not one of my favorites to fight. He's kind of annoying. That's why. He's not necessarily tricky, but he's just a little bit annoying. And he adds this stupid darkness effect, which I'm sure is great for the video. Great for you guys watching at home. I hate Curse of Darkness. There's just little debuffs you can get on each floor where it's like suddenly you can't see your health, or suddenly you get teleported randomly. Stuff like that to kind of spice the game up a little more. All we got was health. Okay. Let us rush to the shop really quickly. See, all this health, I'd love to get more devil deals, but I can only blame myself for taking so much damage. That's just how it is. Let's go further on here. Hopefully the shop had a key. I don't necessarily recall. Oh, the shop was a great fight. You guys. So, our last option is to try and find the super secret room. As you can see, now we're getting to the point where it's like, search through all of our resources on this floor. Can we get a key somehow? The super secret room, because it's only touching 1, if you look on the map, it's also typically really close to the boss room. It can't be here. Neither of these are accessible, which means it also can't be here because this would touch 2. So where can we, further from the starting room, which I believe is that intersection, where can we get 1? Okay, so I'm thinking, in theory, assuming it's touchable, it's going to be the far right of this room is our best bet for a secret room. Am I right? No. Okay, I've got a few other thoughts. As you can kind of see, how it works now. We got to check... Obviously, we're going to waste our bombs, but we seem to have a decent supply of those. So it could be up here, or it could be down on the one below. Could be down. It can't be down on the one below. We're kind of, pretty quickly exhausting. I don't know. I mean, it probably can technically be off the shop. I just feel like that's not likely, given the circumstances. Sadly, it could be any 3 of these. So let's just try them all. It was this one. Key? Yes and no. We could get a key from this, you guys. This is not impossible to get a key here. What we've got here is a beggar who takes our coins and gives us stuff. And what we've got here... Aha! There we go. We did it. What we've got here is a heart machine that takes money and gives it coins, or health and gives you money. I don't want to do that. We're going to blow it up and hopefully get some stuff because it's not worth it right now. Isaac's bombs leave damaging creep. That's kind of working with our whole poison thing we've got. But that's true. We can't keep the doorstop. I wasn't too in love with the doorstop anyways. Here's a random pill. Pills give you buffs or debuffs, but you can't tell what they are until you take them. That was a health up. Fantastic. Turns all pickups.
2 of hearts.
We'll keep the ace of clubs. It'll turn everything on the floor into bombs, and that can be useful at some point. So, you guys, we got our key. Let's hurry over to the item room. Bump, bump. Bump, up, and down. I hope you guys can hear the soundtrack. Obviously, it's up to me in editing whether or not you can. This guy's not that good, but if you're not aware already, the game has a fantastic soundtrack. It's always fun to listen to. I typically have it off because I don't know about you guys, and you can comment down below if you agree or disagree, but I mostly play games to unwind, like after a long day or something, like after work or whatnot. So typically, we don't get enough charges. I guess we're taking that item. Typically, I will play to relax, so I am also like watching YouTube or something in the background, which means that I've almost always got the music off. So it hasn't been since back in the day when I first discovered this game that I actually really listened to what they had to say. And that's, it's here nor there. So I'm sure some people think that's blasphemy that I don't listen to it, but I mean, when you're at like 1,000 hours, it can kind of get old. But either way, it's good to come back to every once in a while and get to hear some of the music again. We basically wasted a lot of time on that floor for not much. Not much happened. But I'm going to try and just kind of roll with it and see how it goes. We are at depths 1, so we're kind of getting pretty close. After this, there is going to be depths 2, and then we will have womb 1 and 2, which is when it starts to get a little goofy. And then I believe after that, it will be cathedral and then chest. And if we get the void, we might do it. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, upwards of 6 different floors left, and I believe this is the 5th one. So yeah, what did I say before? 11? I was correct. There can be around 11 depending on how you go. I think the longest run you could do is if you took wow, this will take us straight to the boss, which I guess is interesting. But the longest you could take is if you do the new DLC route, where you basically go all the way to the bottom, I guess you could say, because you're like delving deeper, and then you flip it around and you go back up to the top, and you actually get to go back into the house, and there's a whole lore implications and stuff. That one's pretty fun, but like I said, it basically doubles your runtime because you are going all the way back around. And on the way back, there's like way trickier enemies, and it's kind of a challenge mode version. It is enjoyable, don't get me wrong, but it's... if you want something compact and YouTube friendly, it might not be what you're looking for. And like I said, I really don't know. I think it's just a matter of reaching your audience right, because I know a lot of Isaac players especially are more willing, I feel like, to watch a video of the whole game just because they want to see, like, if somebody can min-max and really break it or something like that, which obviously I'm not crushing it right now, but sometimes it's just fun to see and kind of hear what I'm thinking at any given point. I can't really speak for you guys, but I'd like to think that that's how you feel at least. That's a charge key. If we get another key, I keep taking the wrong ones like an idiot, but that will be really useful. That's something that I unlocked. You won't find that at the start of the game, but it's a key, and when you pick it up, it fully charges your item. Which is why I don't want to pick that key up before we get into the item room, because I might need it, right? And I accidentally tossed, I picked the wrong option and didn't get a couple keys before. Please? There we go. We want this key. We're going to go into the item room. Is it worth our time? No. That's also not worth our time. So we're going to go get that charge key. Here's some buttons that do random things. They can drop hearts. They can spawn enemies. Wow, that's crazy. That's for, like, not necessarily cheap enemies, mind you. Like, those ones, kind of annoying. I'm not fond of these guys. They do a lot. They be doing too much for them for one button press. Seems unfair. Gosh. I feel like I'm taking so much damage, you guys. I'm far from a gamer. Like, I'm a gamer, but I'm not a gamer. If that's what you're looking for, I'm sorry. But, wow, I'm actually kind of screwed here, too. What a misplay. Can I say that it's, 11:30 p.m. and get away with it? Will that be okay? Oh, he's just tired. Don't worry about him. He's just sleepy. I get a funny feeling that won't be okay. What I want to do now, I want to go back and grab that key because we can get a reroll, and I want to do it, or should we wait? Let's really min-max. I'm not going to grab the key until I finished all these rooms, so we can charge our D6 all the way back up. Once it's charged all the way back up, we will get then like a 4th. I don't think that, guys. That's not going to be worth it. Basically, we'd have to hurt ourselves twice to get that chest, and it could be... I mean, it could be 1 heart. It could just barely charge us back up, you know? I'm going to go ahead and do this to get rid of these spinny guys on the outside before we worry about taking on those, because these guys are frustrating. But you can kind of goad them into going one direction and then swap them around. And this kind of goes... I mean, not just, I was going to say without saying. It doesn't go without saying, but this is kind of an additional thing as well, you guys, is with a video like this one that's going to be longer, it's a little more unreasonable for me to edit it as heavily as I maybe do some of the other ones, which, I mean, it kind of comes with the territory, but also I work 40 hours a week, so that's another reason why I'm so stupid. That's another reason why it's kind of less reasonable for me to have that trade-off. So it would be nice if I could just play the game and people would enjoy it. But that's, you know, that's kind of why I do worry more. It's like, am I doing enough? Or is it just algorithm stuff? Or am I really just, am I boring? Probably a lot of, maybe all 3 of those. Not to like trauma dump on you guys, but I guess if you're here, right? Is somebody listening to me? Either way, at least I get to play the game. One thing that you guys can probably see, it's probably like pretty apparent by now, is as I'm picking up these items, and I have that thing on the right that shows what items I have. You don't have to have those extra overlays on, by the way. Like, that's my choice. But they're being added to my character, right? So I've got that item that makes me poisonous with my bombs, so I literally look poisoned. I'm on fire because of hot bombs. I've got a box around me. Stuff like that. It's pretty fun. It adds it onto your guy, so you can kind of see by the end of the journey. And some stuff will cancel out, but you can, like, you look completely different from the start, and it's visible on your character that you've grown or shrunk sometimes. All right, let's go back once more into this item room and pray that we can get something better, because that's not bad, but I don't love it. Wow, that's worse. We are just getting boned. I want to show you guys some super cool stuff that can come out of this game, because I think I've cemented that this is like a beginner's guide type thing, whether I wanted it to be or not, right? See, this is why this guy's not so good. He will do a lot of damage if he can get onto them, but as you can see, the second my guy gets in this Gish's face, he jumps away. And a lot of enemies are quick like that, so it's kind of tricky to aim him at someone. Let's take care of these little ads before we... It's kind of tricky. This guy's not necessarily a hard boss either. I'm actually upset that I took a little bit of damage there, but the slowing can kind of get to you. He's basically a copy of another boss that does similar things, except he's got more projectiles as opposed to slowing. There are a lot of variations like that, and they typically will drop things themed after them. Like, there's a few bosses that will drop, I don't know if it's always, but pretty much always they'll drop, like, their item. This isn't good either. It's not. It's a follower. At least you get to see those now. They follow. And I guess on we go. That is our option, is to just keep on keeping on. We have gotten a few new people on the Discord, which is always good to see. I love kind of like talking to you guys, and it's one way to hear feedback on these things, other than just the YouTube comments, which, you know, obviously still do that for your boy, but... if you use Discord and that's something that interests you, I will leave the link down in the description, because I would love to get a little community going there. It's kind of tough right now because I'm in this situation where when there's less people, I feel like I need to be responding, like, to keep them interested in my stuff. Because it's not like I've done this before. I've got, like, the outside perspective of being a viewer where I probably wouldn't care, but when I'm the only one in there, it feels like I constantly had to be saying hi. So it's nice to build a community that kind of feeds off of itself, where you guys can be like, hey, you know, how's it going? And then someone else can respond as opposed to me. And these people are still gaining something from it. And I don't also have to be babysitting my phone all the time while I'm making videos or something. Because it is kind of tricky. Some of the things you don't necessarily think about if it's not going to affect you. But, you know, it kind of makes a little more sense why the one person at the center of it all isn't always responding or, you know, getting to every comment. And I'm not nearly big enough for that to be a problem, but it's just a thought that I have. So here's a little tech we can do where when you enter a door, it spawns you right in the middle of the room, which means that your bomb is, like, if I were right here, let me just show you. My bomb will only get one of those. If you're perfectly in the middle of the room, and I'm just going to use down on the D-pad to make sure I don't go left or right, it gets both of them. So that's one thing that you realize over time, and why I'm blowing these up, you have to bomb these ones, is they can drop soul hearts, which protect your deal with the devil. We've got a 36% chance. If all goes well, we can hopefully get one this time. Because it's been a while since we've done, and I quote, flawless. We have a key. I'd rather see what's in there. Wasn't worth it, but I'm glad we at least, we don't have to wonder. I kind of don't love this more options where you have to pick those 2 item loadouts, because there are a few other similar items where it's like, oh, in the item room you get to pick between 2, and that's not as bad because it's once per floor. With this, I get this anxiety of just letting something go once every room almost, assuming a drop actually comes from it, and it's just upsetting. Where it's like, okay, obviously I'm going to take the sack, but it wasn't really that useful. We can double our bombs. We get 16 now, which is nothing to scoff at. They cap at 99 unless you get items that support higher. I believe then it can go up to 999. Excuse me. Same thing for coins and keys. So Parasitoid Tears is not bad, but it's not good considering how much we need. So I'm going to try for this. We got Book of Secrets. I'm going to touch this because, this, as you can see right here, look at Bookworm 1 out of 3. Bookworm is a transformation. If you touch 3 books, which you can only ever, you can't have all 3 because they're all active items, but you will have a chance to shoot multiple tiers, basically. It's like it like 1.5 times your attack rate because what am I trying to say here, guys? It's not always. Like, if you doubled your tiers, you double your attack rate. But when it's only doing it occasionally, obviously, then it's about 1.5 times, roughly. This is a sticky nickel. As you can see, you actually have to blow it up to get it unstuck, and then you can grab it. It's kind of a fun thing where it's like, do you really want those 5 coins? Is it worth a bomb to you? Because if you're in a shop, a bomb costs 5 coins. But if you've got a lot of bombs like we do, it's a little more kosher. We've got a lot of hearts here, so I'm going to use this guy. This is a Devil Beggar, where he takes X amount of hearts and may give you a Devil Deal item. This is super good. Contract from Below doubles all room clear rewards, 30% chance for no. Okay, they buffed, or they nerfed it. There used to be no 33% chance. And given the way things are going, we also got a good pill there. This is a permanent fly follower. Given the way things are going, I'm not super happy about this. Like, I'm glad we have Contract from Below, but I wish we didn't have more options, because now that everything's doubled, it's going to be kind of hard to tell what I should pick up. I mean, obviously, they will be duplicates of each other, but you'll see in a second. I feel like it's going to complicate things more so than it needs to be. Let's go ahead and get rid of this guy. This guy's fun because he chases after you, but that just means he eats right through my fire, and it's kind of funny. Here's another greed fight. Basically, you'll only get 1 greed fight per round, and you can only get 1 super greed fight. So this is as unlucky as we got. We missed out on 2 different shops because we got both of them. And the funny thing is, unless we find something special, this is actually our last shop. We have a bajillion and 1 coins, and we cannot spend them on anything, guys. There's, albeit there's some things that can fix that, but basically these 43 coins are useless to us because we can't get another shop, right? We're on Necro 2, which is a variation of Crypt 2 or whatever, I forget what they had called it, but there's just, the 5th floor can be one of 2 variations that are slightly different, so that's not very good. So this is the Necro version, and it just changes the way they look in some of the enemies and stuff, but it's still floor 5. Either way. Or floor 6, sorry. On floor 6, we cannot... This is our last shop, and we got super unlucky. Okay, right here. So which of these items is going to... Are the pennies doubled, and I can take a penny? No. So it gives me 2 choices, basically. I want the 2 bombs, I guess. So that was kind of tricky. That was a little bit goofy, you guys. I don't think having both of those items, it's not going to harm anything. Obviously, we get more pickups, but it's going to be confusing, and we may lose some things that we want because of it. Obviously, if we didn't have this, we never would have got them in the first place, but it makes you feel worse. I'm sure there's some social experiment behind the psychology of losing out versus never having had the option in the first place. So even if it might not be affecting our run negatively, technically, it makes me sad. And I don't want to be sad when I'm gaming. There's no laws when you're drinking claws, and there's no sadness when you're shooting monsters with your tears because you're a baby stuck in a basement and you're sad about it. And there's spiders everywhere and skulls. And why is this in your basement? Hey, at least there we know which one was which. Those did double exactly. It's curious that the last time there were 2 keys, but then also there were 2 random pickups. Did we grab our item room items? No. I believe we need to go back and re-roll it again. The hard part is, it'd be nice to try and get a battery to recharge our item because I want to re-roll the item room, assuming we didn't already grab it. Okay, we didn't. But I also want to re-roll the devil deal that we can probably get. This isn't too bad. Gives us random effects. There's a couple items that do similar things, and I actually don't know. This might be the worst one. Because one of the effects can give you explosive tears, but they aren't always explosive. It's almost like there's like a 20% chance that they blow up, and it's not good. Because it's the same thing as Bob's brain, right? You don't want things to be bombs when you're not expecting them to be bombs. If you have a bomb that's going to go off in your face, you want to know that so you can prepare. So hopefully that doesn't happen. I mean, it's going to be RNG, right? Whether or not it happens. And either way, it changes every couple seconds. This is the mom fight. This is actually the first final boss. If you just get the game, this is where it'll end for you, and you'll have to start a new run to go further. You unlock new stuff. So the game, like I said, if this were my first time, the game would be way shorter. And then you get this option. We did not get a double deal, which is sad, but we also took damage, so it was only 11%. On to the loom. There are, from this point on, double damage taken, no item rooms, and no shops. So, you know, just find your way to the boss as fast as you can. Here's a challenge room. We're going to do this because, hey, we got an item. And it spawned just what we needed it to, which is actually awesome. Wow. I look away for a second and this guy spawns on top of me. Just checking my phone like a fool. Evidently, this challenge room is duplicating all of the bosses, which I don't love. Because, you know, why would I want to fight 2 bosses if I don't have to? Up there, we've got a black heart. As you can see, it's very similar to a soul heart, except when this is completely lost, it will do room damage. It'll hurt everyone in the room, basically. It's that simple. And it's not a lot. It's basically, it's also considered the necropolis effect or the necro, because there's a few items that do a similar thing, and it's considered, like, you know, they name it many different things, but it's the same effect. So you may know it by a few different names, but am I thinking, what am I thinking? Necronomicon, that's what it is. The Necronomicon does that. I think Dry Baby does it. Or no, he freezes. But, you know, there's a lot of things that can do it. But basically, when I lose this heart, you will see what I'm referring to. That one's tricky. That was more of a challenge room where you have to hit the buttons and get through the obstacle in order to leave. Not necessarily kill all the enemies, which obviously you've noticed that there's a lot of variety here. I'd say, I don't know off the top of my head, but if I had to guess, there's probably at least a couple hundred, maybe upwards of a couple thousand different rings, especially given the different floors and stuff like that you can find. These enemies stink because they stay down until you're distracted. I kind of walk around. I think they do check for your, like, distractedness. But if you hit them with a lot of damage while they're down, where they can't take damage, the game will actually punish you, and it'll make them, like, go into that squash state, where they stay for longer, and they especially can't take any damage. So if you hit them with, like, a bomb or a really high damage attack, it's like, oh, well, you should have been patient, you know? There was me losing my black heart and getting the necro effect, which was super fun. At least I can say I did it on purpose to show you guys what would happen, right? This is another variation of that same enemy we faced before, in short, but he's flying and annoying. I hate the ones that shoot patterns of 3. I'd say pattern of 3, which, I mean, duh. It's not like I'm special for this, but that's definitely got to be my least favorite pattern. Shout out to patterns of 2. If no one got me, I know patterns of 2 and patterns of 4 got me. Am I right? If you played the game before, it'll be, like, apparent to you. If not, then it's just, you can kind of probably also tell. Here's what we're going to do. Poofs work for bomb bridges as well. So in this room, it looks like maybe you wouldn't be able to make it to them, but you absolutely can. And now we can use those coins that we have. There's no other use for them necessarily, so let's just walk into this guy. Maybe he'll drop us an item. I don't know which pools he takes from. I think maybe item room, definitely shop, but he can give us some good stuff. There's a card that can take us to the secret room. It'll just find it right for us. I haven't been looking for them in a lot of these floors because it just hasn't been necessary, and it's, you know, I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time something through the casualties of society. You know what I'm saying? Probably not, actually. What's that? Sum 41. Anyways, so this guy does the same thing. See, he's in like a squashed don't step on me state, and it's annoying because I just wanted to pop up so I can kill him. Those guys are the most frustrating, especially if you got a really good run. Hey, this is the bad effect that explodes. This is the one you don't want. Anyways, those guys are really frustrating because if you've got a really good run where you're going like super speed and you just plow through every room, you don't even have to pay attention. If you're like goated, if you walk in there, you just squash them. You might not even see them. You know, maybe your character's 20 times bigger. You might not even see them, and you walk in and just squash them. Now, it's funny. My card slot is actually covered up currently by my mic, just roughly. I have to kind of move out of the way to see it. And we've had an Emperor card this whole time, so that we're actually going to use that. That's a little better. We're going to use that immediately on this next floor, so we don't have to worry about dying in the womb. Because other than some challenge rooms, there's basically... Okay, well, this one. But other than that, there's basically nothing to find on these floors. Here's a few different things we can spend our coins on. Haha. That's just random chance. I don't think you could... Yeah, I think it's too fast for it to be reasonable, but, you know, you just pick one. This one just gives you... Oh, that was pretty good, actually. I'm going to blow this one up, but this one can give us soul hearts, and I want those. Okay, and it gave us the Hierophant card, which is 2 soul hearts, and here's a soul heart, which filled a red heart because it can do either, and I'm a fool. So I think I'm actually going to blow this guy up too, which he won't like it, but it's more coins for us to spend here, and I'm just going to kind of grind through this really quick. A lot of it's just giving you these things which are useless, but some things are good. Like, that's a speed up trinket. Obviously, we get trinkets too. The goat hoof. Most of these are just insults. I actually do need to take my medicine. That's crazy. There's a soul heart. There is rainbow worm, which we are not going to take because it gives you random worm effects, and some of them are really bad. We don't need more random. We've already got the $3 bill. Come on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't know. We got 1 soul heart. Good enough for me. I actually want these 2, I think. What does this do? Familiar that bounces around the room, shoots in the same direction. Yeah, it just does your base damage. It would be super good to get at the start, maybe, but now that we're doing, I mean, not that much more, 4.8, and we've got all these doubled things. Hey, what's going on? Yeah, that was... Oh, I see. Our thing gave us an item. It's called Dunce Cap, I believe, that splits... You instead of shooting 1 forward, you shoot 2... But it's not very good because you shoot them at like 45-degree angles, which is just awful. So it's kind of like, yeah, if you could make it work, but it's not something that's fun to get randomly. There we go. Let's get rid of him. Other good thing about our fire, if you guys have noticed a few times, it actually, if it hits a tier, it makes the tier disappear. So if people are, it saved us a few times in a few boss fights, I just haven't noted it. But if people are shooting right at us and the tier blocks it with the fire, it just, yeah, it works so well. It's just all around good. Like I said, that's only a tier 3 item. Those are, it's kind of, it might even be a fan thing. The different tiers of items, they may be coded into the game, but I feel like it's a fan thing that just kind of categorizes them in terms of if you want it or not. So it's considered tier 3. I believe it goes up to 4. There might be 5, but I've only ever really seen 4. And it's, you know, it's pretty good. I think it's maybe should be, you know, depending on the situation, it is only this flame, and it's not every time. I think it's dependent on your luck. So as you can see, we've got a 3 luck stat. Oh, that fire mine, by the way, that was the other explosive one that you don't want. When you can see they were on fire, those ones will explode right in your face without warning. Anyways, we've got 3 luck. We've gotten them from a few different places. So we're actually seeing a lot more fires than you would typically, which means that, you know, it's not that great of an item if it's dependent on your luck stat and whatnot, but still, I like it. If I categorized it, I would have done it differently. Ooh, right here, we're going to get something really good. So this room right here is a library. There will always at least be 3 books. I say that, I'm going to be wrong. There's books in here. We've already touched 2 books. We have to hurt ourselves to touch them, which really sucks. But we're going to get Bookworm from this. Book of the Dead is really good. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Book of Rev is also really good. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And we get the Bookworm transformation. So, I think that's pretty much good. I totally said I was going to skip this floor and not look around, and I'm glad I did look around. Yeah. I wonder what happens. If I re-roll these, will these turn into books? They do. I regret it, but let's at least get the Satanic Bible. There we go. I'm done doing that. That was useless. I don't know why I did that. Emperor. Onto It Lives. This is technically the next boss that you unlock after the mom fight. When you first fight it, I believe the first 5 times, it'll actually be a heart. And it's called Mom's Heart. But after that, it turns into this thing. And then I think it's been a long time, you guys, but I believe, see the explosions. You have to fight this thing 12 times before you unlock the other stuff. Something like that. So here we've got 2 options. If we go this way, it'll end sooner. Because remember when we fought Mom, we had 2 Polaroids to pick between, the Polaroid and the negative. This is the path of the Polaroid where if you take it, you can go further. This is the other one. So if you take one and go the other way, it ends sooner. This is a really difficult floor with a really difficult boss that you can get at varying points in the game, pretty much from here on. And I'm not going to go there. Because I don't think we're ready. We might get again another chance later on, but I just don't think we're ready right now. We got a super fun effect here. It's Parasite, I think, where the shots split. This enemy sucks. He's a little trickier. I think he's part of the new DLC as well. I say new. It is the newest DLC. It is far from like new to people who play this game, but you know, between the 2, between the 3 actually, I guess 4 maybe, there was Rebirth, and then Afterbirth, Afterbirth Plus, and Repentance. So I guess if you consider Rebirth, it's a whole new game. It's not a DLC, but you know, whatever. I'm just babbling for the sake of babbling at this point, because we're almost to the end. This is our second to last floor. I feel like if we do get the Void, I'm probably not going to go, honestly, just because I don't think we'll win, and I think we've got a decent chance at least of beating Blue Baby, assuming we get some better items soon, so I'll probably end it there, just so I end on a high note at least, right? Assuming we even make it through this floor. Do some stuff there to actually get these items out. As you can see, if you can bomb, like, physical items, and it'll move them around. So, you know, just nice to know. This would be another time when it's good to have the Emperor card, because there's nothing we're going to get from, in theory, there's nothing we're going to get from exploring these floors. These guys are kind of tricky to hit because they're between the rocks, but our tiers move so willy-nilly that we can technically hit them. They buff the other enemies, which sucks. That one gave us a health upgrade. We've got a lot of health because we haven't had a devil deal in so long, so I will take it. And yeah. Oh, guys, it's time for our annually, I guess, daily? How would I say it? It's time for this video's My Cat is on My Lap Now, and he's going to make noise section. So, you know, check that off your bingo list. I think it's right next to says 35 times, you know, something like that. But you'd have to, you know, it depends on the bingo board. So, if you're playing Keck Sucks Bingo, cat is a go. Took a little more damage there. I'm gonna whop around. I'm gonna whop around, you guys. I got a bucket and a mop, so I'm just feeling it. I'm gonna do that. See how that bridge is painful, but I want to get whatever's in there because it was worth it. I mean, we got, oh come on, we got half a heart out of it at least, and here's our boss. So after you do the womb thing, this is actually us, by the way. After you do the womb bosses, I think this would be the next one that you unlock, and for a long time, this would be the end of it. He's pretty tricky. I'm also not really paying as much attention as I should be, and I apologize for that. Let me just try and focus up here, but there's a lot happening. He's pretty tricky. He's going to do a thing here. Up in the corner. Where he spawns. He basically just throws a bunch of tears at you. I don't want to die here, mind you. So I'm going to try to be careful. Our flame will help us out a little bit. It's hard because what would be the best path for your tears is also directly how he will be hitting you. So, okay, that was a pretty good one to get. Stop flying away, you suck. It's always, for that attack, it's good to just go on the edges, I've found, at least. I think most other people have too. Okay, we made it to the chest. We've got a fully charged D here. So we're going to get 4 chest options that are all just going to be items for us to have. This is going to be good. It's going to lower our damage, but higher tiers. The rest of them, I'm not really worried about. Not these ones either. So throughout the floor, we will find more items, or at least a higher chance. Every chest we find, when we open it, will contain an item. I believe all of them. It might just be the gold ones, but... And also, we're going to go through and we'll be able to re-roll those 3, which is nice, right? Because they're all in the same room, we can use our D all at once. Come on now. This enemy just always tends to drop an item, by the way. That's not because of this floor, it's just that you pretty much... They have a high chance of dropping the virus, and I don't know, you know, what the lore is there, but... It just does, right? Those were... I think that was Gluttony and Lust, was it? Those were 2 more of the sins that we fought there. One of the good things is, now that we've got all these... I was complaining about all these choices we get, but look, we're pretty much getting a chest at least 1 chest every time. Which is nice. Also, we're getting some good random effects, which are doing a lot of damage, and I appreciate that, because we do not have a lot of health. I might honestly pick health over a chest right now. I mean, I guess, technically that was what I asked for, but we didn't actually get a room clear reward there. It was just a coincidence. That enemy dropped a heart. Obviously, if it were a real room clear reward, there would have been 4. This is the bone pile, I think he's called, something like that. Didn't get anything there, which stinks. This is going to be someone on the floor. Oh! Okay, hold on. Focus up. Focus mode. I'm locked in. Okay. Boom. Bam. Neither of those are good. This is just an L. It gives you higher tiers, but it makes it, like, awful. So we've got to remain... I don't think I'm going to survive this. I just got a funny feeling I'm going to lose here. There's so much going on. I don't think it's reasonable for me to lose here. I just, with the way I've been playing tonight, I worry. At the very least, I worry. There it was. So, sorry that you guys didn't get to see the final fight there, but yeah, that was the Binding of Isaac Repentance. Like I said, I don't think this game really needs much introduction. Here's all the different challenges and stuff. This game doesn't need much introduction, but if you weren't familiar with it before, or maybe you've played some of the more modern roguelikes and you're wondering, like, hey, what are some good older ones to get into? And it's not even that much older, but yeah, I love this game. It's fantastic. I think it's one of the best executed roguelikes. It's held up the longest. Obviously, the first initial release of this game is super duper old, but the concept, just, it remains. So anyways, like I said, guys, leave a comment if you have any thoughts on this game or other games you think I should play, or if you think my videos suck, please let me know, because I'd love to improve them for you. Just for you, baby. Right? Anyways, please like if you enjoyed. Please dislike if you didn't enjoy. Subscribe if you want to see more, and ring the notification bell for, you know, notifications as to get more in the future when I upload them. I may or may not play more Isaac. Just like I said, I love playing this game every once in a while, so there might be a few videos more edited, you know, depends on the situation. But also in the description, you will find my Discord, my socials, my Instagram, Twitch, if I ever stream, stuff like that. So go ahead and give those a look-see if you're interested. And I think that's about it, guys. Have a good rest of your day.